Friends, colleagues and listeners, here we are again, another podcast under the heading of Tell Us Your Story. And the gentleman I've got in front of me is Justin Gosling, who's the Director for Canada of Discover the World. Justin, lovely to have you on board, sir.
Well, it's great to be on board and great to see you again, Chris.
It is, and you're looking well, mate. A little touch. I'm just trying to think who it is. You're a little bit
grey here.
Yeah, General Custer come. I'm trying to think of the guy's name.
Well, it was a COVID thing, you know, sitting at home. I couldn't be bothered to shave. My wife says, you know what, you look like one of the Four Musketeers. Maybe you should keep it. So there you go. It's like D'Artagnan or something. I don't know. Every once in a while it gets a bit itchy and I think I'll get rid of it. But it's here to stay for now.
But you've got a bit of Val Kilmer about you.
Well, thank you. I think.
Yeah, no, it looks good. Oh, I love it, mate. Right. Well, as we'll get into the storyline in a minute, but we go way back. But if you can just tell us a little bit about Discover the World, and then we'll get into the journey that it took for you to get there.
Thank you. Well, Discover the World is we're a sales and marketing representation company specifically for the travel business. So we've got offices in 60 different locations around the world. And we handle, in some cases, the same clients around the world, and in some cases, they're individual to the company or countries where we are. So my job here is to support the clients that decided they're going to work with us. Some of them are airlines, so Singapore Airlines, SATA, El Al. We've got some cruise companies. We represent Europcar, Expedia Tap, which is they provide a desktop booking system for the travel trade, and several other companies. And you know, we provide the service for companies that either are dipping their water or their toe in the water to see if they want to set up a business here for themselves.
Yeah,
because we provide great service and then hope that they'll keep us on. Or companies that just decided that they don't want to invest. And this has happened a lot after the pandemic. Companies who shut down their offices, laid staff off, they're now looking for different opportunities to keep the market going. And here we are. And I'm pleased to say, growing and having some real good success since we sort of opened back up again.
Yeah, no, brilliant. And when you think about it, it makes sense, doesn't it? But I've got to say, what a lovely title for the name of the company, Discover the World, huh?
Yeah, no, it is. It's awesome.
And so many people still are.
Yeah, and I mean, you've known me for a long time. I've been an airline guy for most of my life, and so this has just presented me with an opportunity to learn so many different sides of the business. So as I said, hotels and car rental, and now the technology side with Expedia. I don't think my learning curve has been so steep for quite a long time. I'm really enjoying it.
No, that's brilliant. Nothing like learning. But it also adds to the fact that, you know, when people think about the aviation industry and everything that goes with it, there's so many different zones or fields that go round where that aircraft lands or takes off that people don't appreciate. So, you know, it really is an all-encompassing industry where you can put whatever skill you've got, you can adapt, but you can also then replicate that anywhere in the world.
Yeah, and well, as you rightly said, there are a hell of a lot of moving parts to the airline business. And I think I probably found that one out the most when I moved to a small carrier called Air Seychelles. I was there for a couple of years, 13 to 2015. And having been mainly a sales and marketing guy with airlines, I now found myself having oversight of things like in-flight catering and duty-free sales and a VIP lounge, and you know, a lot of other things that I would have never really stopped too long to think about. But what you realize that it's all a chain. You have to keep everything working together nicely, and if anything breaks on the chain, it has a knock-on effect on everything else. So it's a complex business, all right.
Yeah, and that's in the old Etihad days, huh?
Yes, yeah.
So that would have been just after Sam Opera.
He was there. He was there when I joined Air Seychelles as the head of cargo. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, he's a good lad. Nice to go back a little bit of memory lane.
Yeah.
So going right back, Lufthansa was probably where it started, huh?
Well, for me, yes. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Sam still. Yeah.
No, Sam. No. I'm only joking with him, but that'd go back to the almost to the Wright brothers days. But I'm only joking, Sam, if you're listening. I'm only joking, mate.
Pontius Pilate was still a first
Yeah,
officer. I
yeah,
know. Well, I had a couple of jobs before I got to Lufthansa, but Lufthansa was my first airline role. I mean, I kind of got the travel bug before then. My first job was with a company called RCI, and I
yeah,
think RCI was about 1985. And they're a company that do exchanges between timeshare owners. So it's one of these things. If the number one objection is, well, I don't want to come back to the same place year after year,
yeah.
and then you pop in there and say, well, if I could show you a way that you could use your space at this resort anywhere else in the world, blah blah blah, would
That's
you
it.
buy?
Yeah,
So RCI was a great company, and well, I guess after a while, they made the mistake of sending me off to some rather nice locations with a clipboard and a pen to do an evaluation of new resorts. And they sent me to Mykonos on a very cold
oh,
February morning from London. And I arrived in Athens. I took the hopper across to Mykonos, and oh my God, it was just absolutely stunning. No grey, everything was vibrant and colourful. And I was sitting there with the owner of the resort going through my checklist. And he said, "Dear Justin, at the end of this month, we're going to bring some salespeople down and actually start selling this. Would you like to come and join us?" I think I thought about it for about 2 seconds and said, "Yep, I'll be down."
yeah,
So I did the old timeshare sales for a couple of years. First Mykonos in Greece, and then I went to Malta for a year after that. And it was in Malta that I started working with a local DMC, so what they call a destination marketing company. So they're the ones that will collect the tourists coming in off the aircraft and take them to the hotels and then take them out on day trips. And I found myself working regularly with the ground crew from Lufthansa. And they were telling me that the company was expanding and that they were looking for new people. And I thought at that time, well, it's been great living in the sun for the last couple of years. It's about time I grew up and tried to find something a little bit more permanent. So that's how I came to Lufthansa. So me and a whole bunch of other new recruits joined beginning of February 1988 on a check-in desk.
yeah. And I do believe I interviewed you way
I
back
was
in
going
the.
to say this is the second time you've interviewed me, Chris. Thanks for not giving me the job last time.
No, 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 no.
But
I've
it's
got to tell you,
okay.
I've got to tell you something. No, you were excellent in the interview, and I don't know whether Ray Lake ever listens to these podcasts or not, but I remember there was one thing where we asked you. I think I asked you. I thought I put what three words would you put up on the board that depict something that perhaps the current team doesn't have? And you put a couple up there, and then you put erudite.
Ah.
And I remember looking at Ray, and me being a a local lad from Felton. I remember looking at him thinking erudite, and he looked back at me with the same sort of look. I don't think either of us knew what erudite was
That's
then.
kind of glue, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's what I said to him afterwards. I said
Oh
this is
dear.
the lad who can glue the team together.
There you
Uh,
go.
but no, I remember that. No, you interviewed extremely well. Really, really,
Well,
really
listen, you did me a favor because in not opening that door, I waited a while and another door opened up on the passenger sales side.
yeah, yeah,
And that was really where I guess my career really started to take off. So I went from a year and a half on the at the airport doing check-in counters, which by the way, I've got to say, looking back, is probably the most fun I've ever had in the industry. I mean, when you work shifts, you're seeing people at 5 o'clock in the morning and at 11, 12 o'clock at night, and even though you might not know them, you just get into this whole sense of community. It's wonderful. And this was the day or the time before you had pages and cell phones and everything else. At the end of the day, you go home, hang your uniform up, or more like throw it on the floor, and you wouldn't think about work again until you were next sort of on shift again. So nice times, great community, lots of nights in the pub and meeting up with friends, and it was a nice sort of carefree way of getting into the business.
no, it was, and I think you'd agree with me. Lufthansa, they were superb at the training and the
Oh my
the
God, yeah.
level of. I mean, I don't think any of us realised how good it was back in the day when we were getting it.
Well, you've obviously been to Zeeheim many
Oh
times as
yes,
well, which is the Lufthansa training center to south of Frankfurt, which was absolutely amazing. I love that place.
yeah.
And the first check-in course, believe it or not, was 3 weeks.
Yep.
Now I think it's about a week on on a computer going through three-letter codes and how you fill out certain forms, and it's all just gone so different and so much quicker now with the technology that's available.
Yeah, and I mean, technology is incredible what it's done, but I
Mm,
do feel now that people do need a little bit of practical competence focus rather than all this LMS and tick boxing exercises. I mean,
yeah,
that's just
I
me.
agree.
Some people will say it's because I'm an old dinosaur, but I genuinely think people need that care element to the first steps of their future.
Yep. No, I agree. Um, and I would really say, looking back, it was a great way of getting that sort of close up, hands-on experience of the operational side of an airline. And that really, what they say, once you've got the aviation fuel in your veins, it never really goes away. And for me, that was the beginning of, I guess, what's been a fairly long career, most of it focused on an airline.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's great. Now, if you were to give a bit of advice to youngsters or the next generation or anybody that wanted to change in their career, why would you say aviation or aviation links is the one that they should choose?
Um, Obviously my answer is going to be quite subjective because of where I'm from. I've traveled around a lot, not just working but also when I was a kid, so the whole sense of being international or being part of something bigger than just a place you live has always been with me, and aviation is just a great enabler, isn't it?
Mm.
Whether it's people moving around the world, going on vacation, going to a different job, seeing friends and family, or whether it's shipping cargo around the world. I mean, it is one of the most important elements in modern society of people being able to migrate as quickly and as frequently as we do. And I think once you set your foot into it, it stays with you. I mean, it's a very exciting business. As we said, there's so many different moving parts. And one of the things that I found, and I was really very fortunate, is that airlines are companies that still like to promote from within. They value the experience that you may have built up working on the check-in desk or selling tickets or boarding flights, working in catering, doing cargo preparation. If you've done the job for a while and you're ready for a move up, very often there's a chance for you to do it. And I went from being a check-in agent in 1988 to being a director of leisure sales. Is probably the highest job I had at Lufthansa for the United States, with a budget of about $500 million in sales every year. And that was through the opportunities that were presented to me within that one company. So I would say to anybody, you don't have to go in necessarily at the top level with a degree in an MBA. You can start at the bottom and work your way up. And you're in a really exciting international environment. There's, quite honestly, for me, there's no other business like it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I mean, and very, very, very well put. So that's obviously where the erudite glue comes.
No, that'd be my dad. He's like, he swallowed the dictionary every night and challenged us to find out new words every day.
No, well, he did well because it stuck with me all this time. No, but you've really covered it well there. And now, as far as your career, obviously, certain people, it's great to get a sponsor or somebody who believes in you or somebody who just turns that switch on.
Yeah.
Have you got any recollection of any people that stood out there?
Um, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you talk about inspirational people, characters in my life, I'd have to start with my dad, who, he was kind of an old school guy. He did his military service and in the RAF, and he taught me the values of hard work and finishing whatever you start, and stopping and appreciating the good times, but being able to get up and dust yourself off when you get a kick in the watsits, which has happened quite a few times over the years. But there are people in a career who open the doors for you, absolutely. And there have been several of those on the way. But I would say the people that I've kind of been most drawn to and have left the biggest impact um, are the ones that are able to combine that sense of focusing on the business, being analytical, understanding how everything slots together, and really taking the company forward, but at the same time being decent people. And
Yep.
you and I have worked in a couple of the same companies, and I'm sure you and I could, share a few horror stories of some of the things that we've experienced over the years. But the ones that stick with me are, there was a guy called Rick Robustelli. So after I left Lufthansa after nearly 20 years, I've got to be honest, I was a little bit lost. And I went to work with this company called HRG, which is it's a big travel agency. Hogg Robinson Groups, I think, is where they
Yeah.
originally come from. And this guy, he just combined it all. He helped me to sort of regain my footing, and also a little bit of an appreciation of the fact that you can be a successful businessman, you can lead a big company and a big team, and you can actually still be the kind of person that cares about the people in the team and who wants to bring everybody forward. So Rick is probably one. And the second one is somebody you probably know, Kramer Ball. Did you ever meet
Yeah. Yeah.
him?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah. Yeah.
when I was at Etihad, it was Kramer who gave me the opportunity to move out to the Seychelles, because he at the time was the CEO of Air
Yeah.
Seychelles. And he was another one of these guys. I think he comes from a financial background, fiercely intelligent, understands the business from A to Z. But the one thing I'll never forget about him is, he'd go off and he'd have his meetings with the board members and with the prime minister or the president in the morning, and then he'd come back to the office and he'd roll up his sleeves and he would go and do a walk around the maintenance facility, or he'd go down on the apron and he would talk to the guys who are refueling the aircraft, or doing the check-in and the baggage handling. He knew nearly everybody's name. And he made some tough decisions over the years, and I guess not everybody liked him, but everybody respected him. And I think I learned a lot from him as well. I mean, you try and incorporate some of these traits into your own style as move on
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
the years. I like to think I've got some of that, but these two really stick out as people who are the full package.
Yeah, and it's so important, isn't it, to, like you said, either admire them from a distance, but that you can
Mm.
also touch and you can see exactly what they're doing.
Yep.
If they do come and they interact with you as an individual, it really motivates you to move forward, doesn't it? And I think it's something that everybody should appreciate, that feeling that you feel that somebody's looking after you or guiding you. And then
Yeah.
they make sure they give that back. It's a little bit like that film, passing it forward. I think it's so
Yeah.
important.
There's
And
there's a bit of tough love in there as well. I mean, when you screw
that's
up, you
it.
need to know
That's
that
it.
you screwed up, but then always afterwards, there's a look. Let's show you how you get it right next time round.
Yeah.
And that bit and that willingness or desire to make sure that everyone on the team gets it and feels a valued part of it. That to me is what really makes the difference between good leaders and great leaders.
Yeah, no, no, and again, well put, my friend. That's why you've done so well, eh?
Ah,
Articulation is fantastic. God bless your dad. Um, Now the
rest his
next
soul.
thing, just coming back full circle,
Yeah.
discover the world.
Yeah.
Where do you see that? Where do you see that going now from here? And why should people start looking at discover the world?
Well, I'm 2 years into it now. I was uh, I was really fortunate. I got a phone call from a lady called Jane, who had been here for a while and was moving on to bigger and better things. And she gave me a call and said, "Look, your name's come up. Do you want to come and have a chat?" And I didn't really know too much about them. Actually, interestingly, this is another thing. If you stay in this industry long enough and you move around a bit, eventually everybody circles around you, right? You come back to work with or deal with people that you've known for years, and it's great. There's a really guy called Ian Murray. He's actually the CEO of Discover the World, and I worked briefly with him, and he was with United in London. I was with Lufthansa, so we immediately had a connection. So I had a good chat with him and with the owner of the company. And I thought I really like the sound of this, so I came on board, and ever since I've joined, I've just really thoroughly enjoyed the fact that I'm still very much working with and interacting with people I've known for years from the airline and the travel business. But
Yeah,
as I said, I'm learning so many new different things. So this company or this organization and this job has just given me such a great chance to take all those years of experience that I've had, most of it useful, and put it and put it to work in an environment that can actually make things happen. I mean, we're growing. I think my biggest challenge at the moment is finding people to bring into the company. We tend to go with people who know the business, that they've already built up a bit of a career and a reputation for themselves, but they're not always available. And we've actually started looking at people who show attitude and aptitude and bringing them in and training them. And
that's
there's
it.
nothing more
That's it.
rewarding bringing young people in and training them up, mentoring them, and just setting them free and watching what they do. And we've got a few people on the team right now who I'm just so proud of them. They're doing such great work. So,
Well,
you know, why join Discover the World? It's a multifaceted, it's exciting, and it's in an industry that personally I just love to bits.
brilliant, mate. And what a lovely ending to a nice get back together again
Yeah,
after many years. But Justin, it's always been nice. Like you said, we've dipped in and out of similar companies and we've passed each other by and stuff. But you made a big impression that day back in Heathrow. And you made
well, thanks for
another
not
big
giving me the
impression
job,
today.
Chris.
No. You made a big impression. You made a big impression, and
Well,
love
it's
to
been
see
great
what you've
to,
done.
you know, to rub shoulders with you now and again over the years in the industry. And well, I wish you the very best.
Likewise, and I hope we come in contact very, very soon,
Absolutely.
Justin.
All
Thanks
right,
so
my
much
friend.
for your time, and like I said, get your missus to have a look at a picture of Val Kilmer. You are a dead ringer.
Will do. All
Really
right.
appreciate it. Thanks very much for your
Thank you
time.
so much. All the best.